Well, it's the next day, Saturday morning, and I was running into a couple issues last night, and I was tired, and things starting to get a little bit irritating. So I decided to just call it quits for the night, come in, get some rest, and come back out here and start. So got a couple things that I need to do. One problem I'm having is I was running this thing in, trying to get these stop rods for your limits lined up, and I went all the way in, and I had to back it back out, and the dowel pins pushed in there. This dowel pin I can move, but this dowel pin down here is hard to get into this part of the knee. So I need to bring my crane back down here and hook my strap back on it and get a little weight off of it so that I can put that dowel pin back in here, okay? Another thing that I had to do is reach in here and tighten up the suction tube like I mentioned before. So I had to make a wrench so I could reach in there and do that through this box right here. All of the standard wrenches is way too long to get in there and tighten that thing up. So I dug through all my old wrenches, my toolbox over here, and I found this one, a Palmera, made in Spain. So I cut off, and I'll be able to reach in here and tighten up that flare fitting to get the tube tight. So hopefully I'll be able to keep this with the machine, and it'll be just used for this mill right here. All right, one more thing I think I'm gonna have to do is go ahead and remove these, I don't remember what they're called, the terms, but it's like trip dogs that line up with these rods that go all the way back, and whenever the table feeds all the way in or out, it'll actually kick the automatic feed out, okay? I'm having to line those dogs up with those rods, and it's proven to be pretty challenging. In the manual, it even suggests to remove the back one back here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take that one off, and then hopefully we'll be able to get all this in there. This one right here, for your Y-axis movement, I can actually reach in here and move it with my hand and line it up with the rod as I push this all the way in. It's just the one that's in the back, I can't tell if it's lining up or not. So that's what I'm running into. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started on it. First thing I want to do is go ahead and get the oil line tightened up like it should be, and get that before I forget about it. And then we've also got to put our O-rings on there and do our gasket eliminator, okay? Okay. All right, we got the tube where we want it. All it takes is just a little bit. The handle worked out perfect. I'm having to reach in there and actually hold the oil filter so that it doesn't try to twist it out as I'm tightening it up. I think we're about there, but I want to give it another little pull, make sure. This is our one spot that we thought we were having one of our major problems, was it not sucking the oil properly. All right, that feels pretty tight. We're going to run with it. Okay, I just got the feed stop out of there. Let me show you. That's where it goes on the mill. It goes up inside, and it also pivots on this pin right here. So we got the parts right here. This is the part that actually goes up inside the mill and bolts on, and this this right here is what connects to that notch that's milled in those two rods. You got two of them in there, and all that does is pivot. So this will go on like so right here, and it's held in with a tapered pin. Okay, all this stuff is sliding apart. So with this on the mill, whenever it catches the hard stops on the mill knee right there, this is actually pushing, and it'll rotate. So with it on here, it'll rotate whichever direction you're feeding, and it'll kick that feed rod out. Pretty neat. It's a pretty neat system, and very well made. Just a little tricky to get it all lined up properly. So I think once the knee is actually in here, we'll be able to just stick that up in the hole, because the notch will be right there, and I'll be able to bolt all that right back on. Okay, next issue is addressed. We've got the two dowel pins. Here's the one on the bottom. I've got it all the way up into the front part of the knee here now. Same way with this one here. It's all the way up inside, and it's started on there. Okay, see, it's going right on up in there. Now I will have to line up this shaft right here, not very long. I'll have to line that up to get that going. So next thing I'm going to do now is go ahead and start getting my O-rings here. I got to get this O-ring on here and get my gasket limiter on. Okay, I've got all the O-rings. I've got 4 O-rings in their place. I use just a touch of the 515 around the O-ring just to help make them stick where they're supposed to go. And I've went ahead and run a light bead all the way around the face of the knee right here with the 515. All the way up underneath it. So I think the next step is to go ahead and run it all the way in, and it's going to be home. So let's go ahead and do it. Just want to make sure that we're good to go. And as I'm running it in, I'm going to have to get this feed stop dog into its position on this rod up here. The knee lined up. Yeah, that spline shaft flying right on up, man. You'd think this is kind of hard to go in, man. It's just as smooth as silk. All that, them dowel pins and that screw. Where we're at. Almost there. Alright, we got that one lined up. Come on, man. Well, I'm glad I looked at that. Oh man, we weren't. I got to pull the wires through a little bit more. Dang. Okay, let's try that again. Finally got the wires all the way through there. This feed stop back in the slot. Okay. There it is. All right, getting close. I'm gonna go get my bolts and we'll start bolting it in. Okay, we're making progress. We're gonna go ahead and get this little valve block mounted up to the side of the knee. I just bolted the housing on for the wiring. I still have to hook the wires in though. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just put a touch of this gasket eliminator on the gas or the O-ring just to help it stick. All right, just like that, so that when I'm putting it on there, it doesn't fall off. So we've got a few here that will do this too, and then we'll put us a light. Come on, man. After we do this, we'll put us a very light bead around this just to make sure that it's all sealed off, okay? All right, got our gasket eliminator on there. All of our O-rings are on there. So we are ready to bolt this thing up. All right, there we go. Just got two more bolts to bolt in there and torque them up. We'll be ready. We're going to go ahead and start filling the knee up with the oil. I've got the thing wired up, and I believe I have it wired correctly because I took a picture of the wiring before I undid it, and I pulled it up on the computer and I checked it, and we got it hooked back up. So I want to go ahead and put fluid in it. I was really tempted to try to bump it and make sure that the motor's running, but I don't want to do it dry. It's already going to have a little bit of a dry start when I first turn it on, so we're going to go ahead and fill it up. All right, I wanted to go ahead and talk just for a minute about the oil that's going in there. This is the stuff I bought here locally. They call it Protex, but what it is Dextron 3 automatic transmission fluid. I got into a discussion with one of my viewers. David is his name. David has the same exact mill as I do, and he emailed me and was telling me that in his manual it's recommended to use Mobile Fluid 200. Okay, Mobile Fluid 200, it's an older designation, is equivalent to Type A automatic transmission fluid. So you fast forward all the way to today's times, that is equivalent to a Dextron 3 automatic transmission fluid. So that's what I believe James Kilroy uses in his big S15 mill, and David has got in his mill, like mine, okay? And even right here, okay, it says it may also be used in equipment requiring Type A ATF fluid. So this is about a third of the cost of the other oil that's recommended that you can run in here. Is, I don't remember what the fancy term of it was, but today it would be called ISO 32. And the guys down at the oil place here said the ISO 32 is actually pretty hard to find now. Next thing would be to go to ISO 68, which is a whey lubricant. Okay, in the manual it says you can use the whey type lubricant or the Type A transmission fluid. So this right here is a lot cheaper than whey oil. These buckets cost me $28. So we got two of them because between the knee and the headstock it takes close to 10 gallons. I got enough that I can do an oil change in the headstock also. But right now we're just focused on this. We want to go ahead and get this poured in there. It holds 3 1/4 gallons. But I do have a sight glass here I can work off of also. So we're gonna go ahead and get it filled up. I got a funnel kind of wedged in here. I'm gonna use this funnel to fill it up with some oil. And then we're gonna see if the magic happens. All right. I was getting a little bit ahead of myself. I had 2 more things I need to make sure that I put on there, and that's my pressure gauges there. So this pressure gauge will actually, it'll go on right here. Okay, I'll go ahead and get it started in the hole. This is going to be our direct pressure reading. And then I bought a new one. We had this on the shelf. I bought this. I actually wanted one a little bit higher than that, like a 40 or 50, but this is a 30 PSI. This is going to go right here. Okay, and that's going to read our lube pressure. So I'm going to go ahead and get these tightened up in there. This should work because I believe the lube pressure is supposed to be between 25 and 30 PSI. So hopefully we'll be able to see it good on this gauge. Getting close. We've got a sight glass right there. It's a little hard to read, but it'll come up to it. You can see it's just over my oil filter now. It's just touching the top of it. All right, folks. Time's come. I'm getting ready to hit the switch. We're going to bump it over. We're going to see what happens. So I'm hoping for the best and expecting the worst. I've got that camera over on my pressure gauge, and I got this one up here so you can see me. I don't think I'll be able to run it constantly with this opening here, open to the elements, because once the oil gets on the gears, it's going to try to sling it out, but a little bit happens. I'm not really worried about that. I want to see if this thing is working correctly. So I'm probably just going to bump it and bump it off and make sure that the motor is spinning the right direction to start with, okay? I see pressure over here, 250. I see 20 pounds on the lubrication. That is a good sign, man. That is a good sign. All right, you see it slinging right here? That's okay. I ain't worried about that. It's on the gears. All right. Let me all right, I need to add a little bit of oil because it's pumped it up, it's filled everything up now, and it's not in the sight glass anymore, okay? So, man, I can't tell you how excited I am about seeing that right there. Holy crap, man. All right, let me do a little top off with some fluid, and I'll put that cover back on there. And then we'll fire it up again and let it warm up a little, and then we're going to check it and see if it works. All right, we got her topped off. Got the cover on. I finished putting the cover on the electrical panel there. So we're going to fire this thing off again and let her warm up some. Awesome. Starting to get a little bit of drip out of the 2 plugs down there. I need to go ahead and put those in. First thing we're going to do, okay, see right there, I'm going to reach through here and see if we can adjust the come on, man. All right. This is where you adjust the pressure for your lube. What the hell? I thought it was a 3/8. Ah, wrong wrench, that's why. All right, so we'll try this again, and hopefully I'll get this one adjusted, and I've got the knee pressure over here for the lube. All right, we're at 25 there. All right, I think we're pretty good right there. We'll leave it alone. Well, it don't take much. All right, we got our lube at 25, okay? So, I've got the two plugs that go into the holes down there now, so I'll go ahead and get those in, and we'll bring it back. All right, we've got some success, but we're limited on what we've succeeded at. So I went ahead and played with it just for a couple minutes here to see what was going on. So we'll show you the Rapid for the first time. We'll go ahead and start with our Y. Okay. We'll use our X movement. Okay. Let's go ahead and use our Z. Okay. I got to do some adjusting on that flow control, I believe. There's where we're messing up. It's not wanting to pick it up and it's dropping off. I'm not sure what's going on. It sounds like the motor's stalling. Okay. The other thing too that I'm not sure what's going on is that it's whenever I kick that in, it should be power feeding, and it's not power feeding now. So like right here, that should be in. That should be feeding. We're getting all of our gear selections here. We're not getting any power feed. I'll take this cover back off and I'll do some adjustments on those flow controls and see if that fixes anything, and we'll go from there. Okay, I did a little checking with this is our test ports here. This gauge, I've got it in the middle. That's going to be your power feed. I'm not getting any pressure. Now I had it up on the top plug right here. I had them swapped, and whenever you engage this, it would jump up to 225. So for some reason I'm not getting any oil to the power feed. So I got to do some more investigating to find out why the power feed circuit is not getting any oil. Well, I'm at a stopping point. I'm at a standstill really on what's still going on with the mill. I haven't figured it out yet. So on the power feed circuit, I'm not getting any oil pressure. I don't understand it. I really don't. I've been trying to figure out what I could have done wrong for it not to get oil over there, and I don't get it. I know that I hooked the oil lines up because I double checked myself. Just don't know. At this point, I feel like I'm going to have to just pull it back out so that I can check the lines and see if it's hooked up. I can't reach in there. I can't see it where it hooks in. The line comes all the way around to this side, so I don't really know. I did feather the flow control for the rapid side so that whenever it's engaged, it doesn't slam in so hard. So we've got that adjusted pretty good. But the knee up and down is still weak. I don't know what's causing that either. That may have been an issue that James was experiencing. I thought he said that the knee was, your Z up and down was a little weak. So I don't know yet, man. I know we've corrected one problem, but we still have another problem. So I don't know. I feel like just need to take a break from it again and walk away, get my mess cleaned up out here, and keep thinking about it. And we'll probably end up having to just drain our oil and pull this back out so that I can check all those lines. That's the only thing I can think that's wrong, is one of those, the line feeding the power feed circuit is getting bypassed, like it's not hooked in somewhere. All right, so that's going to be it for now, guys.